It's funny that you mentioned selling management, on these things. And that's something, as we work with, IT professionals and IT leaders, I think sometimes, obviously sales gets a bad rap because there are so many people who do it the wrong way. But I think a lot of times folks we work with in technology, they are, kind of science's version of an artist. They have their own unique way. They've come up with their own strategy for how to manage their network or to solve their organization's problems. And to tell someone that, you may need to sell somebody on your goal, on your idea, on your plan, on your vision, sometimes you see leaders react to that in a way that is, I guess they have a poor reaction to it.
Yeah.
And when you're saying, you have to sell management, that's something that we've been trying to stress as a team, as we talk to our customers, or as we go to different speaking events. It's unfortunate it's another job that you have to do. It's another hat you're going to have to wear. But if the people that you work with in your organization do not believe why this is important, do not understand your vision, and are not in support of you taking the organization, the city, the county, the bank, whoever it might be, in this direction, then no one's going to be able to move forward. It's if you treat it like a sports team, a football team, you can have two great athletes on the team, but there's 50, 60, 70 people, depending on the level you're at, that are on board. And if they're not on board with you and not all going in pursuit of the same goal, then you're not going to be that successful. And I think that's one of the things, like, as soon as I hear you say selling management, it's unfortunate there are a lot of folks who see it as all of the negative things that come with sales rather than the positive that is getting people to understand why this thing that matters to you actually matters in real life. And
Well,
that's something that we have to translate. We have to sell that.
and I think it's important also because when I say sell management, I'm
Mhm.
talking about the CIOs and the CISOs and the IT managers within the company or within that organization trying to sell their own management on an
Mhm.
idea. That's what we see a lot. And unfortunately, our CEOs, our presidents, our board of trustees or board of directors, they all have very specific missions. They're seeing goals that we may not understand at our level.
Mhm.
So I think it's very important to make sure that these boards and your senior leaders, the C suites, are getting some type of periodic information security training. Not to make them information security specialists, obviously, but so they understand the risk and when these topics come up, they can respond accordingly. That's the selling we need to see, and that we see a problem with a big client base.
Yeah.
Healthcare and education, two of the biggest problems we see. You have the leaders focused on the mission, which is where we need them focused. But like to use your coaching analogy or to use your sports team analogy, you can have two best players on the team, but if the coach doesn't understand the field or can't call the right play, these players are not going to be used,
Mhm.
to the best of their ability. But I think it's a very difficult conversation. I get asked the question pretty much every time I speak. How do we get management to pay attention? Sadly, get breached is probably the easiest way for them to pay attention.
not, not
But
not not the nicest way though.
yeah, not the nicest way, but probably the biggest leverage that's working is explaining to them that, hey, there's a chance your cybersecurity insurance is not going to pay because we don't have the controls in place that we're
Mhm.
expected to have in place. We have
Yeah.
to pay attention to these things if we truly want to be covered, and that's been helping.
Mhm.
That's at least perking up the ears and getting the conversation started. But I'll tell you, the organizations I work with that are in the best shape, the president, the CFOs, the senior leaders are in every meeting, and they require IT to be in every meeting. They want to hear the data, they need the data, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in the risk assessment piece. They have to understand the risk so they can make decisions based on that knowledge. But if they're sheltering or shielding or insulating themselves from this information, it's going to be very, very hard for your CIOs and CISOs to make positive ground in the world of security.